YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha back in the building for some more Last Cloudia news and information. Here we are on a Tuesday. After a couple things went down, we did get an in-game notice that we're going to check out today on the latest update to come, June 30th maintenance, which is tonight at 12 a.m. Pacific. We also got some notes from Barleen himself, the Catman goat of the community, who did say after the Q&A on Friday or Saturday, was it, that he was going to jump in the chat sometime Monday, and he did make it by the skin of his teeth very late last night. Your boy Buddha was, of course, sleeping. Nothing too crazy that we haven't seen them say in the past, but I think some things to note, which I do want to cover. So we're going to start here because they do both relate to each other, this in-game notice and the things that Barleen said. So I figured why not just kind of combine them both in a video and see what is coming next. Here is the June 30th maintenance notice. Thank you for playing Last Cloudia. Will take place on June 30th. At 12 a.m. Pacific to 3 a.m. Pacific, so another 3-hour scheduled maintenance. We've got data updates, gacha updates, event updates, promo updates, shop updates, and bug fixes, which will be important because there are so many darn bugs since they pushed this last update. Since I started playing back in November, I can say that Last Cloudia is pretty notorious for incurring a lot of new bugs whenever they try and push these new updates, these big new features, big new anything into the game. We tend to run into a lot of issues, but they are planning to address them. We'll see at the end here. Let's start with the data updates. Added a boss to the Godforge Dominion and new items to Godforge Alchemy. We can see based on the icon, we're getting that Inferno Lord that they teased in the live stream. Mardigade, I think is what his name is, will be added to the Godforge Dominion, where you can get materials required for Godforge Alchemy and Godforge Enhancement. Additionally, 3 types of equipment will be added to the Godforge Alchemy. Take on the Infernal Lord to get those mats to create these incredibly powerful equipment. We saw, or we have now seen, that they are not playing around with these new Godforge Alchemy equipment. The sword alone, the Muramasa, whoa. Powerhouse of equipment. So I'm excited to see what others that they're planning on bringing, if they can compete on that level. Let's see here. We do have the schedule, and this was something that Barleen also confirmed late last night, but now we have an actual look at it in the official notice here, so we can see this, that these multiplayer bosses for the Godforge, they are going to be on rotation similar to Ability Gate. So we can see here the Giant Kraken is scheduled for Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. The Infernal Lord Mardigade is Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. And then Giant Kraken and the Infernal Lord are both on Sundays. We do know a third boss is coming on the 7th or 8th, if I'm remembering correctly. So I imagine that boss will also be worked into this schedule. The fact that they're giving us a schedule on all 3 already is a bit weird. I mean, it would have made sense to me if they did a week of the Kraken, a week of Infernal Lord, a week of the Ant Queen, and then just cycled each boss weekly. But it seems like they're going to do this daily, multiple days out of the week schedule. I don't know if with the addition of that third boss, we're going to get 2 days on and off of each one, and then Sundays you get all of them together. That would make sense numerically in my head, but we'll have to see. For now, they are going to be on rotation. You are going to need separate materials that are related to the specific bosses for specific equipment. So you'll have to plan accordingly when you're doing your farming, which is whatever, but it is what it is. We've got this balance adjustment section. The victory conditions for the Red Ability Gate God Difficulty Quest Boss Wave will be relaxed as follows. Before adjustment, clear by defeating all enemies. After adjustment, clear by defeating Fiery Disaster Dara Makira. So this change is going to help a lot of players. The fact that on the Red Ability God Gate, you fought the boss Dara Makira, which is the giant sandworm, and it spawned the spirits very quickly, very frequently, and in order to clear the entire stage, everything had to be dead at the very end. If you killed Dara Makira and the spirits were still alive and you couldn't finish them all in one fell swoop, It was going to be a pain to try and kill off one at a time quick enough. In fact, I think it was virtually impossible to do. So you needed to rely on these AoE, either specials or magic spells in order to do the job. Now that you just have to kill the main boss, Dara, that is going to help a lot of players. It's going to help make those clears just a little less of a headache. Even though if you had the strategy to do it, like bringing in Alice or the proper magic spells, it wasn't too big of a deal. But now it's just one less thing to worry about, which is cool. We also have the gacha updates next. We're getting the new Ultra DOH Festival banner, and we can see we've got Eliza, Lancevale, and Davin, and then the Theopolis UR arc on raid up this go around for this next week. Descent of Heroes Festival Ultra is released, and they're introducing 3 units that have been buffed to 5-star enhancement capability. Like it says here, from July 1st to July 7th is when this is actually going to be active. So this isn't coming tomorrow. This is actually going to come into the game a couple days after this update. So 2 days from the time I'm recording this is when we'll see this Ultra DOH banner, not actually tomorrow when the update goes live. I shouldn't even have to say it, but for the newbies who are asking, this is an easy skip. Unless you got your wallet ready, you got some money set aside to play catch up. If you want 3 of these, one of the 3 units or all 3, and you want to go chase Theopolis, there is no reason for any free-to-play or budget player to spend money on this banner. You are not going to get a great return on it. Those 3 units, while they did get their buff, while Davin is actually a very decent unit now, not worth spending any free-to-play crystals with how valuable they are. And Theopolis is not a must-have UR arc. None of them are really. They're all luxury things, so I would say hold off. As we'll see Barleen say later, summer events are around the corner. We've got the event updates for the latest event, Echoes of the Great War. We're getting the addition of End Half event quests, addition of extra challenges, start of Ethercoin Chance Part 2, which is important. If you did not finish your Ethercoin Chance that's tied to this event, and you missed out on that one Rainbow Mega Cluster, which feels bad, but it's not the end of the world if you did miss it out. Just know that when this part 2 comes into the game, that Mega Cluster is gone. All of those rewards from the Ethercoin Chance Part 1, they disappear, and now you can only roll on the Ethercoin Chance Part 2 stuff. Just keep that in mind anytime they do this type of event. And the addition of various rewards. We're going to get more mission rewards, I imagine. Right now it only goes up to about 30k mission rewards, so that'll probably get extended. And that will be around until the 7th, when all of this stuff does come to an end. We've got some promo updates. Huge update celebration promo. Soul spots produced 1.5 times. Quest souls are halved, which is nice. And grand ability gates are coming back, which I am so happy about, because your boy is running real low on my red and purple crystals, and this is what I rely on to farm those up. So this will be a very nice snag. And the gear upgrade field's coming as well. If you got nothing else to do and you want to play catch up on your alchemy, equipment enhancing, there you go. Shop updates are there if you care to read them. I do not, but here we are with the bug fixes. A couple key ones I want to point out just because I've experienced them, and there are a couple others that I haven't experienced but I've heard others ask me about, that I do believe are addressed in here. The following issues will be fixed. In the quest self-defense system and on the 75th floor of Tower of Trials, when the enemy performs a specific attack, the game crashes. They're planning on fixing this issue. I did get a comment asking me, yo, I can't get past floor 75. My game keeps crashing. My game keeps bugging out. Hopefully that will not be an issue after this maintenance tonight. In multiplayer, devices sometimes don't sync with each other as normal, which can cause unexpected behavior during battle. I don't know about you, but I have noticed a lot of disconnections when we are starting multiplayer matches ever since this update rolled around. I personally haven't crashed at the start of multiplayer, but I imagine it's related to this bug whenever we start a multiplayer match and I immediately see one of the party members get disconnected. A huge issue, because we rely on those extra players for extra rewards on the multiplayer reward screen. So losing those people, it's like, it hurts, because it's like I lost a chance at getting a very valuable item. So please, I hope this does fix it right here. I did hear someone say this. It isn't possible to buy EXP boosters for units that don't have 5-star enhancements released yet. So, interesting kind of bug, but I believe I remember someone saying, yo, I can't buy EXP boosters. And I personally didn't know what that meant since I've never done it. But here is the reason. If that unit doesn't have a 5-star enhancement already in the game, it seems that there was a bug that would not allow you an EXP boost purchase. And then the most annoying one for your boy is right here. In the Crimson Ore trading space, a network error occurs when attempting to trade for some equipment. I'm just going to show you what that looks like, since I was all excited after my summon session live stream that went so great. We got over 7,000 Crimson Ore. I'm like, I can get my last Scarlet weapon. Here we go. Buy it up, and boom, this is what it gives me. Event information has been updated. You click OK, and it just sends you back to the home screen with no actual purchase commenced. So I'm excited for them to fix that so I could get my Scarlet Rod, which is exciting because of now we're going to move over to the Discord and we're going to see what Barleen mentioned in his further notes after the Q&A that we did just see. Biggest shout out and props to my guy Calphonite. He did change his nickname to Gold 4 ranked champion. He was very proud of that, I guess, in the PvP season. But this is Calphonite, as you can see here. The newest mod to the Buddha Gang community. Very happy he accepted that role because he is such a huge help for doing things like this. He went ahead and went through all the text files of Barleen, jumping into the main Discord community. Main LC Discord community, and compiled it all into basically just notes to post here in the Buddha Gang Discord under the LC info tab that we can see. Let's go over what Barleen talked about. A lot of it does cross over with what we saw in the in-game news, but there are a couple things just to look forward to that we have seen in the past, but the fact that it keeps coming up is a good sign in my opinion. So, like the first one mentions, we saw in-game Godforge bosses on rotation, kind of like ability gates. We got that confirmation in-game that we saw. New bosses equals new Godforge gear. New equipment will use new material, right? The equipment will be relevant to whichever boss that they are released with. New survey coming for multiplayer and arena. Guys, this is actually pretty cool. Just above Alice, of course. Ivaz, the female boss, a.k.a. Lauren, a.k.a. Alice, a.k.a. Mute. She's gone by a lot of different names now. One of the OG Buddha Gang mods. She did post the survey here so you can access it on the Buddha Gang Discord as well. But make sure you go and fill this out, not only to give them actual focused feedback about your experience with multiplayer and arena. I heard that there's a section in here that asks about time stop God heal specifically. So probably after this recording, I'm gonna jump all over this survey and go in. So, but also, you get 300 free crystals. So a single spin might get you Luxeus, might get you the new UR arc if you're fiending for it. I've seen a couple people get real lucky with their single pulls. Or it gives you another 300 crystals to stockpile and get ready for whatever is coming around the corner. So very important there to make sure and take advantage of that. There are plans to add option to toggle damage numbers as part of improvements to multiplayer. So, thank goodness, that was my question in the main LC Discord, and it got a ton of upvotes. People were like, yes. So it's clear that in the community, it's a majority vote that if we can toggle off the damage numbers, it would probably save so much lag, so many FPS issues that people have. Just that one simple toggle feature. And Barleen is saying within the talks of ATIS or ITIS, they are planning to do this partly just because it's going to help with multiplayer by the sounds of it, but that would be, I think, just a W of a feature to truly implement into the game for all areas. All FPS areas of the game, this would help a ton. So that's very exciting. I'm very excited when I saw that. Plans to optimize data transfer multiplayer so that there's better communication between devices. I mean, that'll be huge. Less crashing, hopefully less lag between devices. But, I mean, this is a very general statement, right? It's not like there's any details. Of course, a company's going to promote that they're going to fix one of the big features that they're promoting that has a ton of issues. So we'll see in time what that means. There will definitely be more multiplayer stickers, and this was a follow-up to someone asking if there was ever going to be a multiplayer chat where we could like text each other in the multiplayer lobby, and Barleen said, long story short, it ain't happening. But he did say there's going to be a lot more multiplayer stickers, and he said please feel free to suggest multiplayer stickers that you'd like to see with certain texts, certain phrases. And it was pretty funny that because I did go back and look at the original chat logs, and he was just like, yo, like, we know y'all are going to be so toxic, so just know that we're not trying to be that. Just keep that in mind when you're making your recommendations, is they're looking for a level of toxicity that they just won't allow. Demos, actually, I remember him asking about putting LC on Amazon App Store and Windows 11. And Barleen said, really doubt that's coming. If we're doing a PC client, might as well do it properly. And that's important. No, it doesn't seem like Calphonite listed it in here, but I do remember reading that Barleen said for multiple things that this is more of an when than if. They are planning on releasing a global PC Steam client, which would be huge. We knew that they were in the plan. They were in the making of it. We knew that they were planning on it and they were developing it, but they were kind of walled behind the payment structure. How much cut does Steam get versus, figuring out those kinds of details they were stuck behind. So with little confirmation or little details on how far that is, we know that it is there. Like, it's going to happen, like Barleen said. It's more of when than if. They just need to figure that out, and that just depends on their priorities when they're going to prioritize that, which I think they should do it sooner rather than later to capitalize on a true PC market in this game. I think it would go a long way for the game. So very exciting that they are planning it. It's a when rather than if. All we can do is sit here and wait and be patient. Sounds like there are plans for LC merch, but they're still looking for a stable shipment carrier to solve the shipment fee problem. So in case you wanted a little enlightenment as to why there's no merch in the States yet, or in your country, beside if you're not living in JP, that's why. And this one's pretty big. There are plans to make paid equipment available again, including those for perm units as well. More of a when than if. Barleen did hint pretty strongly that they were going to become available in the Crimson Ore Shop. Now here's the thing. We've seen paid equipment in the Crimson Ore Shop. If we go back and look at my in-game screen, we can see they have the nameless coat, Balin's paid, one of the two of Balin's paid equipment. They've had it sitting in here forever. They also had Logia's swords in here as well. Luckily, I was able to get those because they brought it back as a mission reward when they did the Logia Redux event. But they've put paid gear in the Crimson Ore Shop in the past. The thing is, they just did it once and then never again. That is why I'm waiting to see what this actually means, if they're going to drop a couple more in the Crimson Ore Shop and then forget about it completely, or if they are going to start updating that shop on a regular basis, including paid gear from the past. That would be enormous for me. In regards to my opinion on their paid gear structure, that would be huge. That's all I'm going to say. Barleen did say the deals like the 30K banner will come around more often, and Barleen went on a whole tangent, which was pretty funny to see. He's like, listen, these are the banners that you want to save for. Something that I also mentioned. He's like, you can't be saving up 12K and then spending it on every new banner. You gotta hold off for the bargain deals. Yes, Barleen pretty much criticized a whole lot of people by saying that, but I totally agree with him, and that's the kind of advice I try to preach as well. These 30K banner deals like we saw, where you can pretty much pity yourself, Spirit Main Interior if you didn't have her, Sage Zekis like I did, for a 30K crystal amount is absolutely insane. Giving away 30K crystals for a unit that's already been in the game, it's not the newest thing, right? It's hard to do, But when you can guarantee yourself something in a gacha game for a huge discounted price like that, you just can't deny the value of such a thing. And so if they're going to be bringing something like that back often, keep that in mind for any big updates, big celebrations, big events. They're probably going to bring these bargain deals. So not only do you need a reserve for whatever is new, but you're also probably going to want to keep a reserve for these bargain banners like they have if you're missing key essential characters. I don't know if they're going to really do that same kind of thing with arcs, but we know that for certain characters, they've introduced this now. So keep that all in mind. In order to enjoy a gacha game as a free-to-play budget player, you have to be smart. You have to be resilient. No. You have to be smart. You have to be disciplined, which is like impossible. It's like asking an addict to control themselves. It's not really feasible, but it is the reality if you want to get the best experience or get the best value, get the best return on your crystals. So that's all I gotta say there. Ability gates are getting changed, likely fine-tuning bosses at the gods level stages. Sorry if you can hear my laundry going off real quick. I got a pretty heavy load in there. Getting back to this note right here, all I want from this is for them to remove the health thresholds. While at first I was kind of on the train of thought that I liked the health thresholds for the simple fact that you couldn't DPS burst down these bosses effectively. You really tweaks hammered in the point that you needed support, Spirit Materia, Gen, or any support characters with debuff capability. You needed them in order to truly make these new multiplayer and god stages a smooth sailing clear. But now the fact that it's tied into farming, because these are farming stages, yeah, I'm definitely on board with them taking away these health stop thresholds where you can't deal damage for a certain amount of time. I think for a world boss, something like that is fine. But when you put it on top of something that you want your players to be farming for materials, it's a bit counterproductive, right? It makes grinding feel bad, because no matter what you do, for those looking for those fast clears, you are immediately walled by a certain time threshold because you literally can't do anything for that amount of time. So I hope that's the change, that's the fine-tuning Barleen refers to here, but we will see. That's just Buddha's hopes and dreams. No mega clusters at grand ability gates yet, in all caps. Again, a lot of whens instead of ifs. This one's pretty exciting. There will be more SCT recovery spells, though not on the same level as Honey Elixir, which is fine. I don't expect anything like Honey Elixir anytime soon. This is pretty much the same as Trishula in the game. Its usefulness is way too high for them to catch up to or want to release anything broken like that. However, SCT recovery spells, that's what I want to see. I want to see some permanent glass record type spells in the game. So that's what I'm hoping for here. Moving on, since certain units were buffed a lot more than others, they might look to change the SC on existing skills and other means of buffs. Now, this is a very exciting, like, to read it initially, but the way that Barleen words it, like, we might look to change SC, it sounds like this is just table topics. Nothing is written down. Nothing has been started as far as reworking the SC costs for certain spells. But Barleen did say, like, there are certain SC skills. There are certain skills that should have an SC cost of like 2 or 3 that I imagine he's talking about have like from 5 to 10. So hopefully it will be a substantial decrease in a lot of SC costs, which would be huge, giant. But I imagine that's going to take a lot of time and going to take a lot of planning. So I don't see this coming anytime soon. And he says, and other means of buffs, right? It's like something they just casually mentioned around the table as they were discussing. I don't think this has really been put down on paper. I don't think this has been set in stone yet. So we'll see. Hopefully sooner rather than later, of course, as always. Maintenance tonight. Keep tabs on in-game news. That's what we just looked at earlier. So this was all information we got before that in-game news notice. So like I said, a lot of this stuff ties into what we already saw. And then more news on summer soon. This is what we're all waiting for. The juice on the summer events. Barleen did say again, it's going to be a busy summer. An exciting one. Nonetheless, as they usually are. Okay, there we go. So we got to look at the in-game news. We got to look at Barleen's beans in the Discord. Thank you again to Calphonite for summing it all up. Don't forget to do that Q&A, that survey. If not only just to get an extra 300 in-game crystals, a lot of people are always asking, how do I get more crystals? Well, you do little things like this, and then you save, and then one day you look at your account and you say, oh, wow, I got a good amount of crystals saved up. That's the only way. There's no fast ticket to big crystal amounts. You just got to save and forget about it until the time comes and you're like, time for me to dump. That sounded weird. Nonetheless, here we are for another maintenance Last Cloudia news and information video done. I'm going to try and get this up quick so that there's no time wasted. There are a couple things, right? Don't forget all of these rewards, if we check back in game, that you can get for the next like 12 hours. The Ether Coin Chance Box, all of these rewards will disappear afterwards, after the maintenance tonight. Like you can see, your boy Buddha just went for that Mega Cluster and I stopped. I didn't even finish the 4th step. Because while all this stuff, yeah, it's cool, it's nice, I don't feel like spending orbs on that. I actually do want to spend orbs on the Godforge Dominion. Now, I actually don't know if the Kraken is going to disappear until it returns again in that Monday through Wednesday time period that they showed in game. I don't know if that is going to occur upon maintenance tonight. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so technically the Kraken on that schedule should still be on rotation, but I couldn't even get the Muramasa sword if I wanted to at the moment. Oh, look at that, DB Legends. Just because I don't have the soul saved up, 700k, no slouch, I'm at 300k. I can't get 400k by the end of day. So if it does disappear tonight, I'll have to wait till it comes back in order to upgrade this. And actually, I don't know, I take that back. I don't think that the equipment itself is going to disappear from the Godforge Alchemy tab. I think it'll still be here. It's just that if you don't get these mats farmed up in time, you'll have to wait till it comes back on rotation to get those specific ones. And I still got a while to go, but I plan on doing some farming of the Kraken today. So check the Buddha Gang Discord if I'm asking who wants to run some multiplayer stages. And that's it. Going over that. Yeah, cool. Laoxe is on the screen. You can see the man himself. Still got to get him upgraded to do a 5-star showcase, but we're making progress and I'm excited. I hope you are too. We'll see what happens with this next maintenance. Hopefully it fixes a lot of bugs. And that's all I got for you this time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you get excited from any of the notes that Barleen talked about, or are you still underwhelmed? Are you still hopeless and you think the game is just always going to be buggy? It's always going to be crap. That's all I got for you this video. So, like we always say, work hard, play harder. See you in the next one.